All right, we live, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Let me see something. I'm gonna have to go for my other phone too.
Yeah, we live.
All right.
Peace
Yeah,
out.
you know. We live. Yeah, hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Let me see something. Go for my other phone too. Give me just a second, man. We're gonna get it in, get started. Get started. I was trying to go from okay. Yeah. All right. So tapping right in there. Satepan Raw. If he in here or not. But uh it started. Hold on. Let me go back. Well, before we get started, before I introduce the two guests I got on here, I always I'm Hotep Dua Duau Aku, which means I welcome in peace. I thank or praise the ancestors, Dua Nature, which I praise or thank the divine. Mojube Odemare, Mojube Oleron, Igun, Mojube Iba Gun Kiki, Mafu, Iwa Pele, Fafmu, which I said, I praise the creator, I praise the divine, I praise and give all homage to the ancestors. Well, I bring forth good character and I bring forth peace. So before I get started with anything that I do, I always have to bring forth peace and I always have to bring forth. So hope everyone that's tuning in and may jump in the live stream later on, bring forth peace and bring forth good character, because that is a trait that our African ancestors and what we practice, building good character. So as you come in the live stream, try to practice good character and keep peace. Today's show was going to be about we're going to have a book discussion on books that we think that uh, the black family should have in their household. I got two guests with me today. Seeing Sean, who y'all know on Facebook by Any Red Sean. I hope I'm saying his name right. And we have another brother, my other brother on here, Asar M. Ka. So I guess Sean, you introduce yourself. After Sean, after you introduce yourself, Asar, you introduce yourself.
Dua and Kofi for having me today in this discussion. And ETM Hotep Rennie Sean. Welcome in peace. My name is Sean. I'm looking forward to a powerful intro show on Kofi TV, Kofi Pasa TV. And peace to the brother Asar.
Dua Seba Kofi, Dua Seni, Any Headed, Seba, Any Headed, Uncle Josh Seneb, Dua Seni, Senet, Uncle Astajed, Uncle Josh Seneb, Uncle Josh Seneb in Interu, and praise the divine.org, praisethedivine.org is where you can find me. And I can't thank our brother Kofi Pesci enough, and brother Any Harrod for joining the stage today. My brother Kofi's first show. I hope you guys enjoy. Shout out to Satepan Ra and all the Seshu Ma'ani Medu Necha, Ankwas the Jed, life, stability, and strength.
Appreciate y'all, y'all coming on, man. This is an honor to me, man. I appreciate it. Y'all could have been doing anything else, man, but I asked y'all to come on the show. Y'all came on the show. I appreciate it. This is my first show, man. I'm inspired by both of you brothers, and keep up the good work. We keep supporting each other. Like we said, today is gonna be a powerful show. We're gonna be showing books. Seeing Sean, he has a book list. I have a book list. Asar has a book list. We have about 10 books. We're gonna run through the book list, talk about the books, and etc. So this is what we'll do. What we'll do is we'll give everybody else. We'll just go and we'll let we'll let Asar start off with one book, and then we'll go with Sean, then we'll go with me, and then we'll just keep rotating. So with each book, because like I said, I know we probably gonna run into some of the same books that we probably gonna be talking about. Like I said, I know with Sean studying on the same particular subjects or whatever. So we'll get started with Sean. What's okay? Go. Yeah. Go ahead. What's the name? Okay. I see you, Satep and Ra. I'll put it in the inbox.
Shall we begin?
Sin.
Your household may be different than mine, for those listening. So let me start with the foundation of my household, which is a book that creates it creates Netzeru. It creates Netzer. It creates what you would call gods in layman terms. So the first book I present, and we'll probably all show this, is the Book of Coming Forth by Day. Okay? This is a particular translation. The translation means nothing, but that's the center of the human being for me. So being African people, we're spiritual. So the very first thing I'm going to do is talk to your spirit. I'm going to talk to your soul. And the book that I would use first is the Book of Coming Forth by Day. So that's my first book that I would say should be in every African household, because it will recenter you to your African traditions, whether they be Ila Ife, whether they be Ogun, whether they be this, whether they be that, whether they be Ilisar, whether they be Dogon. You will find yourself in that book. You will find features of your African heritage in that book, and you will find features of your human heritage in that book. So that would be the first book that I would introduce.
Yeah, that's a must-have. I absolutely have to agree with that. Especially if you're trying to reacclimate yourself with Africa, center yourself in that spiritual culture that you have been stripped of and deprived of. So yeah, I totally agree. That's a must-have in the house. Yep.
I'm sorry, y'all. Which book with that, man? My son. I was tending to my son. The Per Imhoru.
Sean, you wanted to go second?
Yeah. Nah, he was talking about your book. Yeah, he put up the Per Temeru.
Oh yeah. That's a great book to have in your household as as well. We talked about it's a good book dealing with character. It's a good book dealing with becoming an ancestor, preparing yourself to become an ancestor. So to have in the household. And that was one of the books I actually was going to was actually in my list that I had also. So we can scratch that out. So we're gonna have a bunch, like I said, fam, we probably gonna have a lot of similar books because we all study on some of the same topics and subject matter.
Yeah, well, let me turn my camera on, my bad. I just want to piggyback off of what he said. Production book. And when you lay down a foundation, then your next few bricks are the most important. My book that I highly recommend, should be in every household, is Ma'at by Taka Kilimanjaro, Ife Kilimanjaro, Yara Aneb, and Tigumbe. Yeah, I know coffee, I know. But this book is the guiding principles of moral living. This is a powerful book. It actually grounded me into reacclimating myself and teaching myself how to live life, not die. So that you these spiritual books that have you and enslave you in your mind and have you lost and running around like you don't know what to do, or but bow down and live on your knees. This teach you how to stand up. So this is a good piggyback off of what Brother Assad said. So yeah, this is what I would introduce.
I'm gonna second that emotion and build with the brother with that, because the only difference is I'm gonna go back a little further and pull out the Maulana Karenga Ma'at book right here. And I bring him up because Maulana brought it first concerning the Americas, and somebody who did a writing and presentation from African American standpoint on Ma'at. He wasn't the very first brother to write on Ma'at in America, but his book titled Ma'at was the first titled Ma'at from an African American here on our continent. So you got to have that, because that's your ethics, that's your codes of excellence. That is your morality, if you will. But I say ethics is a better term than morality. And the brother Sean hits that on the nose, and I'm sure brother Kofi is going to have something similar and come from that same department. But we're going to veer off in a minute, I'm telling you, because I got some different books. But yo, the brother's right on point with that.
Yeah, like I said, we was gonna be bumping heads with books. You know, and that lets me know, man, that my studies is in the right place, and I have some of the some good sources, because these other individuals that's on the show, I respect these brothers well. I respect their information. I know that I am on the right path as well, because we bumping heads. And right here, you know, it's a great book to have in your household. Thick book, but you know, it's nothing to somebody that loves to read. And once you get into this book, you know, you're gonna get lost. You're not gonna want to put it down. I know when I first started reading the book, I stayed up 36 hours. No lie, I stayed up 36 hours reading this book. I mean, off and on, off and on, off and on. But I didn't go to sleep. I couldn't lay down. I actually couldn't put the book down, because it's a great read. And I just want to share something in the book. You know, moral livings. Ma'at. It says, living a moral life. Need a religion to live in a moral way, but an internal code of ethics over wrong and just over unjust. What we come to understand as right and wrong evolves over time as we learn from our environment. Those around us, directly and indirectly, and on our own internal response to both, to help our internal morality to evolve over time by cultivating intelligence of the heart. So I just wanted to read something by in here dealing with moral living, because I try to stand and be moral. This book teaches you about morals and principle. It teaches you to stand on order. You stand on balance. So it teaches you to be righteous. It teaches you good moral standards, good characteristics. Because again, dealing with dealing with our African cultures and traditions is embedded in good character. So we have to have these morals, edicts, set into place. So this is a good book for building good character. So this is an excellent book that Seeing Sean brung out a while ago. I'm gonna flip the script because I know somebody we gonna bump heads with this, but we're not gonna bump heads with this one right here. So I'm gonna switch gears and I'm gonna go to West Africa for a minute. I'm a we're this book here. I hope y'all can see it. It's called "Of the Yoruba Religion, Orisha Worship," revised edition by Chief Fatma Ane Adulawa Sawanda, if I'm pronouncing the name. And this is for the people out there that practice Ifa. I want to learn about Ifa and the people in the southwestern Nigeria, the Yoruba people. This is a great book to have. I mean, it goes into it's the same thing that we're talking about: good character, good standing. So it's a good book to study if you want to understand the 6 Odus, which is the scriptures of Ifa. It breaks down the 16 major Odus, and it breaks down the 240 Odus, some other stuff with Orulima. So this is a great book to have for in the household for those that may practice Ifa. And I pulled this book out because a lot of us we gravitate, and everybody know that, you know, I practice the Remich culture as well. Everybody know I started with the Seshuma Ni Metaneta group, and shout out to the group. We talk about Kemet, North Africa, and I love North Africa, and I gravitated to North Africa because I gravitated to Kemet for our own certain reasons. Mine was because it's the longest reigning existed up to today. So I wanted to go and study this empire that has ruled longer than any empire on the planet. But I also wanted to get in touch with some of my West African roots because I know majority of us are West African. We know, and we are descendants from West Africa, from the kidnapping trade, early 1400s. So this is a great book to have for those that want to grasp their West African roots. So, and you want to practice Ifa, this is a great right here.
I'm gonna build with you on that, right? And when I do that, let me shout out Babalau Ifagin Binro Okedrian, who right now is putting me through a Ifa divination class, and for all the Ifa Varis, Odu Ifa consultations and the sacrifices and how it's done. You probably want to check with the Babalau. Another Babalau contacted me recently as well. So absolutely, for spirituality, the Ifa tradition was alive and strong in ancient Kemet. And you will find that with so many other cultures from Africa, such as the Maasai, where you have the Il Asar clan. So if you're wondering if, like, we're not saying Asar right. No, you have the Il Asar clan, which is made up of Maasai and Somali people, and they are amongst the Ma'a people, the Maasai people, but that happens to be a particular tribe in the clan. And then you have Dogon, obviously, you have Kalenjin, you have so many different cultures from Africa that should be in your house if you are in touch with your roots and culture, that you have to have a book like that on your shelf without question. What up, Septa?
What's good with y'all?
We book flexing, and I know you got a bunch of books. He down one. Should we put him in the order, brother Sabar Kofi?
Got a couple, man. Congrats on your first show, Kofi. You know I had to be a part of this, man. You know, I see my brother Asar on here, brother Sean. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get in here. Let me clear the schedule out.
Hotep says Hotep.
But yeah, man, I got one where I could flex real quick. I had to run in the stash. I'm like, okay. This one right here would really brought me into some things, man. Maximum Ptah Hotep right here. It's a small little book too, man. It ain't a long read at all. And you want to get some type of knowledge. It's a good book, man, for real. Like, it made me think about things different. You know, it made me switch how I was moving. You know what I'm saying? So this little book, this little bitty book right here, did some things for me. So that's my first little book.
That's a must-have in every Black household, and it's the first complete text that we have in history. Complete book in history. That's the first one.
I said, Satep and Rob. Hey man, read something out that book, man. I got that book as well.
Yeah, me too.
Great book. This is a must. You see, we all have these books. This is a must.
Yeah, that's something we all should have. But yeah, I could just bust it right open. You go to page 28. I just flip through it. Page 28, number 26. Say, do not disturb a great man or distract his intentions when he is occupied, trying to understand his task. When he is thus occupied, he strips his body, though the love of what he does. Love for the work which they do brings men closer to God. These are the people who succeed in what they do. So it's basically saying, like, hey, when you see me over here getting busy in my studies, leave me alone, because I'm getting closer to myself and the Neteru. That's basically what I got out of that little bit right there. So when you see somebody studying, doing their homework, or, you know what I'm saying, getting a better understanding, leave them alone unless you're trying to help them out. But yeah, that's just one excerpt. I just bust that right open and interpret it.
Yeah, man, that's an excellent book to have, man. And again, it's these books, man, you know, that we bring it out, man. I mean, it's building your morale up. It's building. And again, when we talk about we're African centered, we descendants of Africa. One thing that is embedded in our tradition, and that is building good character. And in Ifa, we call it Iwa Pele, which is good character. And I always, when I get started, and I always say Fatmo Iwa Pele, because we always want to bring forth good character. We always want to practice good character. We always want to set the example. So, and an excellent book to have in the Black household. You ready, Sin Sean?
Yeah, actually, it's a Sago. It's a Sago, but
Oh, that's right. You're right. I'm like, yo. So here's the second book, right? Is this our second book, right? Yeah. The praise of the Black woman. The praise of the Black woman. Ancient African things. I'm gonna be honest, because there's a lot of things in this book right here. If you ever forget who your mama is, if you ever disrespect your sister, if you ever forget who did what for you in history, historically, as a person, you better check this book right here. This will bring you back to reality if you ever disrespect any woman, let alone an African woman. let alone your African queen. Right there, right? They cover Black Eve, Amos Nefertari, Hatshepsut, Tia, the Candaces, Makeda, Daurama, Yaninga, Sagolankanti, Amina Kulibali, Amina of Zaria, Helena, Ana de Sosa Nzinga, Mintowa, Beatrice Kempavita, etc., etc., etc. This is what you need right here. This is very important to have. It's a beautiful coffee set edition. Covers folklore, art. Here, I'll open it up. Your sisters is in the building, man. Your sisters is in the building. It's a must-have. This is like having a set right next to you, young Heru, young Shamsu Heru.
All right. Look like it's my turn. So I know somebody gonna bring this book out. I know somebody gotta bring this book out. Must have. You cannot be in the session and not have this book.
Woo!
Your follow banger. Session and not have this book. Saber Ujawu will kick you out. Yo, this book gives us a great synopsis of the ancestors' work, and I like the transliterations in here. You know, this is great, especially when you're learning the sesh. This is a tool that can help you, prepare you in your studies. So you gotta have this book. So I wanted to change the direction a little bit and get this in here. I was gonna go in a different direction, but you gotta have this book, family.
I co-sign that, man. That's a great book. Shelf 2, I was gonna actually add it to the book list, but to bump head too much with some of the brothers with their book collection. But it's a great book. It's an excellent book to have. It's an excellent book to have. It has the primary sources in the book, as well as the and translations are in the book. I use that as one of my primary sources in this book I've been talking about for the past year and a half that has not came out due to things that have been going on, and maybe I will release it, but I use some info. I use a lot of information from out of that book, and like since Sean said, every SU my need Metaneta group, we own that book. That's an excellent book. That's a great book to have in your household.
Yeah, man. I want to add on to that too, because it's another one of them books that'll take you somewhere. I remember it was one time we was looking for something that was right in here, right in this book, man. You read a book and then get to looking for something and not know it's right in your face. But yeah, man. I mean, it got he did a great job with this, man. He actually got he got a couple excerpts from the Maximum Ptahhotep in this book. You know what I'm saying? If you go to page 79, he got some excerpts of that book in this book. That's why this book is so solid. Hold on, let me share my screen. That's why this book is so solid, because he got excerpts from this book and this book. This got the seasons in it. It got geographical locations in it. It got hymns in it. It got correct. It actually got the scientific method in here as well. Like when we speak of the scientific method, they already had that. You talk about the Pythagorean theorem. They got that in here. They got mathematical stuff in here, man. The mathematical papyruses is in here and everything. It ain't the legit ones, but it's a what they call that when you dang, I can't remember what they call that. But it got it in here though. This is about the J-Shesh. Yeah, it got the J-Shesh in here, but I forget what they call it though. But this is one that you got to have, man. This is Because like I said, it got the seasons in here. It got transliteration, translations. It got the text, the J-Shesh. This one you want to have. I don't care how much it costs.
I ain't the price here. Here's my book here. So, like again, I said I know I'm moving in the right direction because on the channel with me tonight, I admire these guys and respect these guys and respect these guys' information and their intellect. So I know I'm on the right path, and I think the book. I don't know how much the book is. If I'm mistaken, I know at one time it had increased a lot, and then it went down. But I think the price is back up. But like he said, no matter how much the book costs, book to have it's a thick book for those that like to read, and you can't go wrong with this book. Excellent read. Theophilo Bank. Check out some more works of his. I guess I'm next, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me see where I want to come. Okay, I'm gonna come before, because I know Sean well, he already pulled out one of the books, but Universal Kemet Press. I know he ain't got this book here. I know y'all ain't got this book here. I may be mistaken, but if y'all can see it, the outlines of the United States historical development from 492 to present. This is an excellent book to have. I want to understand the kidnapping trade, understand things that are going on over here, the things that are going on over here in the States, why the things are going on over here in the United States. It is a excellent read, man. I mean, and they walk you to chapter, man, in here, man, about things that are going on in the United States. The chapter 1 introduction, chapter 2 regressions, death, rebirth, chapter 3 mass transport, mass enslavement, racial apartheid, chapter 4 classes, slavery, the indentured servant, 5 nationalism, liberation movement, capitalism, and slavery, systems of race, sex, gender domination, 7 complex seizures of the native lands, civil wars between the capitalism and slavery, emancipation with the freedom. And I can just keep going. It's about 14 chapters in here, man, and they just kind of walk you through the steps, man, of the kidnapping trade, our ancestors living over here, the different ways, the different stages, them coming over here, the capitalism dealing with North America, South America. I mean, it just walk you through so much information. The London Company with King James, who was one of the famous. My bad, said I ain't think you had the book. I didn't think you had the book, man. But
yeah, like you ain't gonna front on me.
Nah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a great book to have. I'll let you comment on that, man, since you got the book, if you read the book, man.
Yeah, it's a good prep book, especially dealing with current events from 1492 to present. The way that they actually outline history, and then they walk you into, a timeline. Is literally a timeline. So each chapter builds on the previous chapter up until it gets to present, and then it transitions, which will probably lead you to another book once you come out of there, which it does actually. And we really got to know our now. We got to know our past, and we got to know our now. And this does a good job of educating us on the now. It's a short narrative. It's one of the slimmer books, but this book is actually preparing you to get into box squares. So I would advise it. It's a must have. A lot of their work are must-have reads. I mean, it's a, like you said, man. Like, you know, we started the show with a great foundation, and in order to build on that, you got to have them bricks. And these books that we're speaking of today, man, are the bricks.
Yeah. It's like I say, it's a great read, man. It's a great study for those that want to understand what's going on, because it give you steps, it walk you step by step into it. So it's a must have. I don't know if it's a Saturn the book flicks or it's a Tepperod turn the book flicks.
Chatep.
Yeah, it's a tell.
He over there digging which bomb he want to drop.
Right.
Chatep, you ready?
What? Say what? I had stepped away for a minute. What's up?
It's your turn.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I got one right here. Stolen Legacy. A lot of the brothers got this. A lot of them don't. You know, this one right. This particular version. This is an older version of the book right here. This has the let me see. It's a good read, man. He goes into details about basically about how the Greeks stole from history, from Kemet. It's been a while since I read it. I'm trying to think. He go into great lengths, man, and he described it real well. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure. Let me see, because I know this book was different than the other ones. It's something at the end of this where he go, but yeah, man, get Stolen Legacy, man. It's a good book, man. George G. He go in on this book, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a. Oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I'm stepping downstairs real quick. Go ahead, fam.
Kofi, you on mute.
Mike.
If I had to comment on that, you know, it is a book that you should read. Even though we did find some information dealing with certain sources in the book that but we still wouldn't deter you from reading the information. You just have to be careful with what you're reciting. We have had brothers who source some information out of the book, not knowing where that source is. So you got to be real careful with certain works like that, because our ancestor, he didn't have the information that we have today. Because, you know, like a lot of our ancestors in that time that were writing, they didn't have all the information that we have access to today. If they did, their books and their work would be much more distinguished and refined. So it is it's a build on book. It is a build on book.
I'm glad you said that. Read. We don't want to disturb nobody from reading George G. James' book. I was maybe the second book I may have read when I so-called conscious or became aware. I read the book, but like it is some issues in the book. But this is my take. I own I have lots of books. I mean, I own lots of books. I own maybe about 1,400 some books. And to me, I'm speaking for me. Every book that I read, every book, I rate the books. We always give stats and we rate different things. You know, 1 to 10, 1 to 50, whatever we rate. You know, we whatever this. You know, we choose to use it. The stats. Every book I read, I'm not gonna say every book I read is 100% right and exact. And that's just me. Every book I have read is not 100% right and exact because I understand something about science. We can it's certain things that information we may be privy to at this time, but new information may surface where we may be able to build on. One way make a mistake and get something wrong, and then they'll come back, re-edit the book, and fix the problem if they was leading in the wrong direction, and then use or the correct method or the proper research. But it's an excellent read. I don't agree with everything in the book, but it's an excellent read. I don't read the book at least 4 times. I don't read the book at least. I hadn't read it in a few years, but I know I read it at least twice in 2000, and I read it twice in 2000 and might have been 2014. I read it twice, and I used to everybody that want to find, read this, understand who you are, understand who these people are and what they stole from you. So it's a lot of great information in the book. Great information in the book. And just because you may peruse it, may be suspect, doesn't necessary. And I see people in the community does that. They'll throw it out the window. Once it may be everything in the book they may agree with, and they may get to a certain section in the book, suspect in any book, and they'll say the book pseudo. Piece of information out of all the information in the book, 13 chapters, and it may be one chapter in there with some information that may be suspect, and it may not be right and exact. Whole book out and say the book pseudo particular information. We just have to be careful with things that we read and their sources and stuff in the book. So we have to go beyond the books. I read a book, I don't just stop with that book. I have to expound. Okay, I look in the book, as I see some of the books, or see some of the articles, or see where they might extract certain things. So I go find the information from these individuals, go see who these authors is, see who these writers was that wrote these articles, see who these archaeologists was, these paleontologists feel. So just be careful with that. Just, don't throw the whole book out just because it's a piece of information that you don't agree with, or you find it to be suspect, or that it's not right and exact, but all the other information in the book you agree with. Just rate the book at a 90. Like I hadn't read a book that I deemed that is 100% right and exact yet. So it's an excellent read. I recommend the book. We should have the book in the household, but just don't stop with that book. Like Sin said, it's a book that you build on, and we understand time too when the book was written. So always look at the dates and see when these books were written, because are written in the early 1900s. So you have to understand we was limited a certain amount of resources at that time. So some of the ancestors and some of those that are still here only use what they could use, the tools that they could use at this certain time, but over time develop, or we're gaining access to more information. So it's a great read. I just want to throw that out there before we move forward. It's on the side. It's on you now.
I agree. And before we leave the language situation, because y'all made a good point with the last book, I think it's important for any African household to have a book on language. You need to have a book on linguistics connected to something that you're into on the continent, which means you cannot not be into something on the continent. You need to be able to communicate with your people one way or another. So this book here, this is how I taught myself Zulu, besides dealing with one of my uncles. You may pick a different language. It's got the CD set and all that, right? But this is how I learned Zulu. And plus I had partners who spoke Zulu. So I wanted to speak to them. So I said, you know what? It's one thing to talk to them kind of here and there. It's another thing if I spend the time and the quality of mannerisms to go really learn the language. Just like everyone here on the phone, we met because we went to learn another language. We went to learn another language, an ancient language. That was our first bond. So when I want to speak to my Zulu brothers, I can speak to my Zulu brothers. If I want to speak to my Ghanaian brothers, Matio, Baba, you know, I can speak to my Ghanaian brothers and my Wolof brothers. You know, they give, Jetta Jeff, brother, thank you. You know, you need to have this type of linguistics in your house.
That's a fact, man. We need to go back to show that book one more time. Sorry, Makai.
Say that one more time, family.
Book one more time.
Oh, yeah. This book here, this is a Zulu book. This will teach you how to read it and write it. This is just one. I got a couple books on Zulu. It was my favorite culture. Shaka Zulu was one of my favorite movies. This book you may not.
we.
This is part of the Teach Yourself series from a long time ago.
Okay, you saw the print. You broke up on me.
Oh, this is from the Teach Yourself series. We got I got it a long time ago. I don't know if they still sell books, this particular company, but I got this some time ago. I was still married when I got this book. But very important, because if you want to communicate with your people, you need to really know what they're saying. You know, stop playing with the culture. Go find out what they're saying. Right now, I'm trying to pick up some of the Rosa language and some of the Ma'a language. So, you know, I'm incorporating the clicks. You know, this is how when I wrote one of my books, I just wrote a book on virtues of Ma'at, like 1,000 readers on there that have picked up the book and looked through it. A few have taken the test. I sent the test out, but I got like 1,000 people for a book I just did for free, but I did it like a college course. And I do these, you know, we do these types of things so that we can stay in touch with the family back home, so that you can start to spread the culture and let the lineage grow even more here in the States, so that when Latinos come over, they speak Spanish. I don't know why, because the conquistadors were not their friends, but that's what they speak. When Africans come over, or Haitians come over, or European French come over, they usually speak French. But none of that stuff is really conducive. None of that stuff will help build your culture. You're helping to spread someone else's culture. So it's important to pick up a language from the continent and start to communicate, do business, or even just go hang out there and have fun.
Yeah, I agree with that as well, man, because it's crazy, man. I talk to some of my people, man. I ask them, what is your language? And they tell me their language is English. Say, go look up and see how long the English, and how many stages English went through, and who created English, and then come back and tell me if English your language. We have to reach back and gravitate to our own languages, so we'll be able to communicate with the family back home. You know, and it's funny that most of the people that on the continent of Africa, our brothers and our sisters, they are bilingual. You know, they have learned to speak English, but and other different language due to other different Europeans, or the Yoruba coming in and colonizing certain part of Africa, so they begin to speak the language of the colonizer. But they keep their indigenous language, and they speak other different language, and speak a Franco lingua to another language that both clans or African nations can be able to communicate with each other through exchanging goods, and etc. So most of them are bilingual. You know, we have to become bilingual. You know, we have to become bilingual too. And it's important that we reach back and start to study, speak, and write our own languages. I mean, I'm studying uh, the Rani Kemet and the Sesh Metanetta, the writing and the language out of North Africa and Kemet or Tamiri. And brothers also know that in Yoruba, so I'm studying it and trying to get in depth. I can speak some things in Yoruba. I'm trying to get better. I got a few books on Yoruba grammar. So that's a good book. Those are any good book. African languages, is a great book to have in the household because we need to learn how to speak, which is again also.
All right, man. Let me get mine in. Okay. I want to take. Can I cheat, Kofi? I want to. I want to.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to make this one book, and honestly, I'm gonna make this one book, and everybody should have these books in their household. I don't know if you can see this. John G. Jackson, Chancellor Williams, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, Black Man of the Nile, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, The Destruction of the Black Civilization, Introduction to African Civilizations. You got to have when you're coming into consciousness, you got to have a foundation. And the books that we're talking about and speaking on are that foundation. We have covered spiritual, we have covered historical, we have covered linguistics. Culturally, we are fitting everything in to shape and mold you in your studies. So far we on book number 3, and we've already given you a vast majority of who you really are. Books that we're reading.
Yep. Yep. And every book that this brother just showed up, I have those books as well. These are some must books. They are our foundation. Some of those are Akus, which is ancestors. Some of those are Igunguns, which is also ancestors. Some of those Inside Mufu, which is uh so those they are master teachers. They are our Sebas, our Sebas. So those are great foundation books started on where you need to go to find out who you are, your people have accomplished, and what type of potential you have embedded inside of you. Do for that. I know we're probably, I don't know how long we've been on here, and we all on here and we have books. Gonna get to all 10 of the books. I appreciate you showing, because actually I was just gonna start showing some of the other books that I had as well, and then we can just stop and we can just kind of build we have, and we can talk about some of the books that we got. What the books did to us, what the books mean to us, and if the author means something to you, if he don't, oh well, if he does, what that author mean to you. I think it's and man, if you want to show another book, if you want to show what all you had, you can just show it all what you had. And if you want to talk about one particular book real quick, you can. That I'll show, and then we'll talk a little bit more, expound on some of the books that we already show. We'll just talk about what the books mean to us.
Yeah, I wanted to throw them out there real quick for a reason. Because we gotta have those. But the book that I was gonna really pull up right now and discuss was right here by Haki. I can't say his last name. I don't want to botch him up. Brother Robon Montu, he recommended this book for me, man. I read it maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. It talks about terrorism and black life in the 21st century America, confronting white nationalism, supremacy, privilege, and so forth. This brother, and all the way up until the end. At the end, he gets into some of his poetic side. But leading up to that, man, this book talks about current issues today that is impactful. If you have not read this book, Taking Bullets, this is a must-have book. This is a must-have book, especially with current studies. So if you're reading like the sisters, the new Jim Crow book, if you're reading that or haven't read that book, you know, you want to put this book and that book together. Those are two good books to bounce off of each other, because it's going to deal with a lot of things. If you want me to, you know, give you a little piece of it, I can, Kofi. It's up to you.
Go ahead, go in on it, man. Do your thing. Do your thing.
All right. So I'm gonna give you a piece that I got highlighted, or I got bookmarked for a reason, because I wanted to elaborate on it in the future. But it says, the black male white male dynamic can be best described as one continued and unrelenting war, with black males being consistently on the losing end of most battles. One of the major problems is that most black men in the United States are fighting the wrong war. That is, many are fighting to get a piece of the pie. Therefore, they do not understand the biosocial nature of white males, which is that of conquest, domination, of self-development, not one sharing power of decision-making with the vanquished. Former slaves. All right. Now, the most black men can hope and work for within this society is a job, which indeed has been defined by many disillusioned blacks as a piece of the pie.
I might have
Agreed. That's powerful right there.
I know I got
That's
something to enjoy.
Give me the. Go ahead, Asar. Go in.
Oh no, I thought you was. I thought we was just showing the rest of the books. But you still building on that. I ain't gonna stop that, Bill.
I just wanted him to put the book back up again, man. Put the book back up and again, man, so they can see the book again. That's something I don't have in my collection, man. That's something I'm gonna have to get right there too.
Can you see it good? Let me know. I'll try to get the glare out.
Yeah, we can see it good now. We can see it good.
Okay. Yeah, Taking Bullets by Haki R. Menhubati. Hubuti. Hubuti. He's got another book too that I'm trying to get. I just haven't got around to getting it, but this is a powerful book, man. I'm telling you, bounce it off the sister's work. I don't want to mess her name up. We're doing a book show. So Michelle Alexander, The New Jim Crow.
You said you trying to get that book, The New Jim Crow?
Nah, I got that book. I got The New Jim Crow.
Yeah. Because if
you read it, if you read that book, then you want to go back. You read this book. This book gonna vibe with that book a little bit, but in a different direction.
Okay, so you telling the family they should get that book first that you put up and read that book before you read The New Jim Crow?
Yeah, or either one. If you read that book, then you need to read this. This was not as big as her work. This book is it's only about 100 and about 189 pages. So it's light work, man. 2 or 3 days of reading. For Kofi, it's 1 day.
I'm gonna have to get that book, man. I'm definitely gonna have to get that book because see, I haven't read. Matter of fact, I'd have had the book for a minute. I'd have had the book for over a year, man. And I know I'd had the book for over a year. Pull it off one of these shelves, but I ain't finna do it. I don't feel like getting up trying to look and try to find it. But yeah, I hadn't even read the book yet. But I think I'd have had it. But I know I'd have had about a year. But I'm gonna go back and get that book first, and I'm gonna read the book you recommend. Read that first. Read that her work first. New Jim Crow. So I'm definitely check that out here in the and like you said, it's not a big read, so we can get in there, knock the book out, man, and then jump on into but go ahead and start.
I'm about to add all your books to my collection. Don't get it tangled. I'm gonna run through them right here. Classic. The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality, Sheikh Anta Diop.
Facts. Got it. Facts. Good book.
Absolutely, so often on a regular basis. History starts with this book in your African American household. Period. Start your history here. When it talks about what Brother Inherit just showed us, you need books like this. Criminal Law and Procedure. Every African American should have criminal law and procedure and criminal justice in their house. And there's a black author, Inherit got that Sheikh Anta joke. You need to have that criminal law and procedure and this criminal justice in your house, or some type of book showing the effects of what will happen if you don't know the law. So you need to know the law without question, because so many things happen to us and we're scared to go to the hospital because we may go and not come out. You need to have some type of anatomy book, a medical terminology book, ICD-10, right? A lot of these are college books for me. I have a dental associate, all that stuff over there. But these are the types of books that you need to start investing in concerning the anatomy, concerning the body, concerning your character, and of course, how to fix yourself. So self-healing books, I'm not just talking metaphysically, I'm talking about physically, like sports medicine books. This is the type of stuff that we need so that we can avoid having to always go to the doctor. Doctor visits don't always end well for us. You may end up an organ transplanter. You may end up an organ donor real quick. Back to spirituality, of course, the pyramid, the coffin text. Pyramid and coffin text, both in my house. Both of those are in my house. Connecting your spirituality. Once again, more self-transformation, more spiritual transformation, more ethic transformation. And then last, environmental science. Because when you have environmental science, you know what you can do with the world around you. You know what tree has the nectar in it. You know what tree has the medicine in it. You know which tree has the honey in it. You know how to live and survive in situations where your environment changes. If you're displaced or you're at war or you have to move around or you have things of that nature happen to you. So that's my list right there. And we got billions of books, of course, but these are fundamental things that should be in a black household, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely cop that. Was a law book that you had?
That's that. That one right there, you have to take those two. You have to take a law class, but you can probably get them if you go to a library and have the library order it for you. These are from my lawyer classes. So that's the stuff. That's the type of stuff you want to look at as I get ready to re-embark on my journey to be a lawyer. I'm just a good arguer.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Tep, you want to show the few that you had, bro? He probably done walked away. That joker always getting up and leaving from the Satep and Ra. That joker get up and leave.
Satep will bounce on you in a minute.
I know.
Here's your go though, Kofi.
What's up, man? Hold on. I'm just I'm right. I'm trying to get my daughter to sit down, man. Y'all crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I was telling you, man, go and show the few other books that you had that you want to show. You can just show them, you know, and I guess run them down and talk about them real quick if you want to, or just show them. And if it's one specific that you just want to on real quick, you can.
Okay.
And then I'll go with go after.
Yeah, this one right here is World's Great Men of Color. This is the volume 1. I think it's 3 volumes to it. I know it's 2 for sure, but this is volume 1. The reason why I got volume 1 because it has some people in here that I was interested in, such as Imhotep, Hannibal, Masinasius in here. Who else? It got a lot of people in here, man. From Africa, even some people over there when they was ruling in Asia, man. I don't think it got nobody from the Moors in here, but you know, this is a good read if you just looking for a little bit about a certain person in history. I need to get that second volume because it's about people a little bit more modern. So this is a good one right here.
I didn't even know the Tep. I didn't even know they had a volume 2, man. You just told me.
It's a volume 2, man. I know for sure it's a volume 2 because this volume 1. I think it may be 3, but I know it's 2 for sure.
Yeah, I got the book. I probably had that book since 2013, man. I
think that's when I got it.
Yeah, and I hadn't even read it, man. I got books sitting over here, man. I ain't even read yet, man. I might have to jump into it, man, and check it out. Cause like I said, I didn't know they had. If I would have knew they had other volumes, I probably would have knew that if I'd have read it when I bought it. But I'm gonna have to go get the whole collection.
Yeah, I bought this particular one because it has people in here I was interested in. Like it got Akhenaten in it. It even got a lot of the queens in here too. A lot of them African queens is in here too, man. I believe Hatshepsut in here. It got some West African queens in here. Some queens down in Sudan and in South Africa, I believe. It's been a while since I read it, but I can remember a little bit from it. But this is a good book. It say men of color, but it got women in here too. So for the queens watching, y'all in here, some inspiration. Matter of fact, on the cover, it got a lady on there, if y'all can see right here. So it got the queens on there too. If you study in Kemet, man, you want to have an encyclopedia on this stuff, man. You got to have an ancient Egyptian encyclopedia. It got a lot of visuals. Let me just go to one.
You know, I got 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, it got a lot of visuals for people like us who want to see it. You know what I'm saying? This is a starter pack for real because you get to see. You know what I'm saying? You get to see stuff, and it ain't that much reading that you got to do to get what you want to get out of the picture. You know what I'm saying? And then when you become more versed in the language, you can go back over this and then read what it's actually saying. So this is a good a starter pack. And then if it's something that you don't know, you can go to the encyclopedia. Matter of fact, you need a regular encyclopedia too in your house as well. You know, so you need an encyclopedia, dictionary, all that. Because if it's something you don't know, you can go back to it. So I got like 2 more I was wanting to show. This book right here, man, I picked this up at Half Price Books. it's African. It's called African Kings. It may be worth some money. I don't know, but it just got kings in there from West Africa, Benin. They speak a little bit about South African kings, and like I think this from Benin right here. It got a lot of visuals as well, showing you the craftsmanship. You know how they was putting them shells together to make masks. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, this is good work, man. Like, look at this. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't even buy this work no more. People ain't doing this, man. Not no handcrafted work like that. The last one I'm gonna show, this one called The Great Ages of Man, African Kings. And these two books ain't got nothing to do with Egypt right here. These kings on the west. So y'all think we just stay in Egypt over here? Nah, we abroad too. And you know what I'm saying? This book right here got a lot of stuff that correlates with this book. And I bought these at separate times. I just seen the math was the same, so I bought it, put them together, and yeah, it's a good book as well, man. So, you know, I don't really much know who the authors is. They was cheap. I grabbed them. Might be some white people that's the authors. I don't know, but they good books though. I mean, they got visuals. I like visuals. I'm a visual learner, so you know, I like to see. If it's something new, I like to see it first. Then we'll dive into it later when I get to understand it. So, and that's it for me.
It's that Benin culture right there. I see it.
Yeah. And it's some history behind these masks too, man. I was watching, let me show it again. I was watching something where they went in and took all these masks and they got them in the museum and shit. And then they gave the people. Yeah.
So, book up a little bit more so we can see the book. So those that may want to get the book, they can see it. Yeah, that's good because I need to get that book.
Yeah, like I think I seen something where they went and took a lot of this artwork and gave the people fake moldings, fake casts. It's something on I'm gonna have to put the link in there. It was something I seen on BBC or something where they got they got all they work in the museum. Didn't leave the people nothing, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that book, man.
Hey, Coach, I don't mean to cut you, but since he was talking about what we, you know, I had to throw this in there real quick. You're right. We don't just study Kemet because we studied what's going on over here. We study Kemet. We definitely study in West Africa. If you haven't seen it, we be showing the correlations between one culture and another. Flash of the Spirit is another good book. I told Kofi to get that book. I don't know if he got it, but I told him to get that Flash of the Spirit.
I ain't got it yet. Seeing, I'll be honest with you, I forgot about it. But
the only reason I came to it is because he showed the mask.
And this is why I wanted to do it, because I wanted to up heads with some of the books, but I know we were gonna have some books that we might not didn't have. Get that book. These few books that I got on here is in my doodle list in the next few weeks. I'm gonna get these books.
Let me say, since we didn't really touch on a lot of, what you holding up? Oh, you holding up that joint. Annie Harrod got that book right there. That's the one, Flash of the Spirit. Let me say this, fam, because we didn't talk to the children a whole lot. Really, we were, but we didn't. You see this book? This is just one of several that I have. Tales of Ancient Kemet, right? If you want to be telling your kids and your children's bedtime stories, make sure you do it from the homeland, right? They grew up knowing about Pinocchio. They never heard of Nancy the Spider. They never heard of Kefara. They never heard of the shipwrecked sailor. They never heard of Sinaway, but you'll wait till he get a hold of Moses to tell him who Sinaway is. And you may not even know who Sinaway is yourself. Go get a book like this so they can start to get them African chapters in their circle. So they can start to get knowledge from home. Whether you,
I was just finna pull that book off the shelf, man. That's a great book and I don't know why I didn't grab that book, but I was, when you start talking, I started going to the shelf to get the book up. That's a great book, and I think a bunch of us in the session got that book. I think Sin and Twan talked about this book last year, and that's how I know about the book in our chats. And of us ended up getting the book. I know I ended up purchasing it. I know Saber Woodjaw ended up purchasing it. I think a few other people in the group. Okay, well, that's how I knew about the book, and it has all the different stories in there. So that's a great book. Not only, I mean, for the adults, but the kids, those stories. So good, man. That's excellent. You brought that out there, man. I guess I'll show my list. I just pulled it off the shelf. I thought about it. But this is a great book because I want to give out books that we saying we want books that need to be in the Black household. And a lot of us, we're trying to find out who we are. We're trying to find and gravitate back to our cultures. A lot of us don't know where to begin at. So this is the reason why I wanted to do a show with the books, so we can put out books and we can talk about the books, give our respect about the books, what the books did for us. So now people can go to a place, they can go to this channel and look at the books and see the books that we all demonstrated and showed and expound upon. This is a good book too. Used book. I hadn't read the whole book. I maybe halfway with the book, and I never went back and finished the book. You can see I paid $62 for a used book, but it's a powerful book, man. It's from, if y'all can see it, From Slavery, A History of African Americans by John Franklin and Alfred Moss Jr. And the book, man, book we talked about, I showed a while ago, and I didn't think nobody had the book, but Sean pulled the book, The Outline of the United States Historical Development too. But this book here, it kind of go back a little farther, and it begins with West Africa, and it talks about the land of your ancestors at the first chapter. And it talks about Ghana, talks about Mali, Songhai, and other West African states, Africa. So it gives you detail of telling you about those different nations in West Africa. And then it goes into other different, it goes in, and then it gives you a walk by through the slave trade, the kidnapping trade, us in over here. It talks about colonialism, slavery, us being free. It talks about the war, 1812. It talks about that I come back and do later on, just something just to build on and talk about. But it talks about, and I'm going to do that because I want to talk about Libya, Sierra Leone. So this book, it talks about the Revolutionary War and what happened after the Revolutionary War, and how our ancestors from the United States ended up in Europe after the Revolutionary War. Two European countries going together against each other has nothing to do with black folks. I don't understand why we celebrate the 4th of July. The 4th of July is what it's called. They lied to our ancestors, but you had a lot of people patience, but it talks about that and them going into Europe. And I'm gonna do a build on that, just a build on that, because I found out some information just dealing with Mississippi, 15 minutes away from where I stay at. That and actually I'm gonna try to ride there tomorrow. The plantation is not there. It's a big plantation that used to be 15 minutes away from me. Never knew about this place. But I'm gonna go, and so it talks about that plantation and a lot of the slaves that are the kidnapped victims that was there, that ended up, how they ended up getting freed and how they ended up. But I'm gonna do a build on that and just tie in who was the American Colony Society. But anyway, it just walk you through a lot of that stuff, man. So, you know, and it kind of give you a grasp of Sierra Leone and Libya. In one of the chapters, you know, the African in American ended up over there, but it goes through so much different stuff, man, in this book. But this is a great book for those that just start from the point of West Africa all the way up into coming into the Caribbean, South America, North America, and going all the way up into the different wars, the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812 that, you know, we don't really talk about the War of 1812. And other different things that it just walks you through us being free, the Emancipation Proclamation. I mean, it's just a good read to read. Another book, jump to this in here. 16, as the brother stated, all the brothers stated on here that we not only just deal with Kemet, because a lot of people know that every individual on this panel studies is in the Remich culture, in the Kemetu culture. So we always talk about Kemet. We're deep and heavy into the language, but we also study other different aspects, as they stated. We study data and information here in the United States, as well as the Caribbeans, as well as South America, as well as Africa. So again, West Africa, 16 mythology stories of Ifa by Chief Fatma. I showed you one of the other books. This is another one of her books. Great book to read. Niles, known as Black Panther, he recommended this book to me a few months ago and said it was a must. He was reading it, so I figured if he was reading it and it was good enough for him to read it, but for me to read it, even though I already had Chief Fatma book and I read her other work. So this is a great book right here. If you are studying Ifa and want to know about the traditions of Ifa and the people of Yoruba, and these are, it goes in some of the Odus I mentioned a while ago in one of the books. The Yoruba people have their own texts. Odus is scriptures or texts or stories. 56 Odus. There are 256 stories. So this book, some of the Odus. So if you want to know about some of the Odus and some of the traditions that they're passing down, some of the stories in southwestern Nigeria, as well as western and central Benin, is talking about a good book to have right here. Here, everyone, is a must to have. Sean showed this book a while ago. The Destruction of Black Civilization, The Great Issues of Race, 4500 BCE to 2000 AD by Chancellor. This is a great book to have in a household full of great information. So this is a must. This is a must that you should have in your household. By another book, it's a favorite book of mine. It's a thick book, but we readers over here, so this is small thing to giants. African Times, the universe of 1896 AD. This is volume 1. Kemet Press, Ifa Kilimanjaro, PhD, Takao Kilimanjaro, PhD, and Saber. So this is a great book to have. I think Sin Shun and I think Sin Satepenra had this book as well, if I'm not much. A great read too as well. So it's a must to have in the household. And like Sin Shun, I mean, anything by United Kemet Press is a must. It's all the text is a great read. So United Kemet Press, go and support. You'll get your money worth. Another book, a favorite book of mine, favorite book I read in 2016. This book is Nasubiti, King of Ancient Egyptian Journey and Leadership, Asar by Asar Imhotep. Asar Imhotep is great brother, great scholar. So go support get by him. I mean, I'm co-signing it. It's a must. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You could, and in a minute, I want you to pull that book. I want you to talk about the Magi book because I didn't pull it out, but it's some great. Healed a lot of arguments with that Magi book, book for the conscious community. So I'm gonna let you talk about that book in just a second. So this was my favorite books in 2016. This book came out in 2016. So this was one of my favorite books, my favorite read in 2000. One of my favorite reads in 2016. So this is a must read. This brother has all type of information. He has information dealing with the language, comparing other different African languages, the linguistics. So this is a great book to also add, get a more understanding of the culture, understanding of the languages. And I ain't gonna show all of them, but I'll show these three because I had a few more I could go in. But I wanna apologize whenever the brother look, because Ujamaa, which means cooperative economics, is one of the Nugaza Sabas in Kwanzaa. It's one of the 7 principles, or one of the black values that I said we need to incorporate and practice that every day. We don't need to practice that just those 7 days from December 26th to January the 1st. Break those black values, those 7 principles, those Nugaza Sabas into our lives every day. We need to become practitioners of it. And one of the specific ones that I touched on was cooperative economics. I did a whole presentation on there. It's actually on the page. When we get off here, if you subscribe to it, I don't have all the videos up, but all my videos up, but I have quite a few up there. So click on that video. But I want to apologize because I forgot to put the brother's slide on, supporting the brother in one of my slides. But this brother, which was one of my favorite reads too in 2016, it is called the Amun-Ra Illumination Volume 1. Amun-Ra, Amun Ma'at Ra. And I has his other books. The Roman Illusion Volume 2, Judaism Exposed. Roman Illusion Volume 1, Christianity Exposed. So I have all 3 of those brothers' texts. This book, like I said, is one of my favorite. He goes and he expounds in the language, resources in there. I threw a lot of stuff up that I didn't even know about, the baboon, mourning ceremonies, and some other different things that I didn't know about, that I learned about in this book. And then I went out and did some more extensive research on certain things. But he has a lot of stuff that's dealing I'm dealing with the Kemet culture, dealing with the language. He also have in there Ty Mary, because at one point in time I heard about it, but I didn't know exactly where to go to find the information that I was hearing about, because I couldn't come up. I came up short when trying to find it. Ty Mary and Kemet, primary source of Ty Mary and Kemet, and when Ty Mary and Kemet came, what dynasty that it came. You see the actually edged in stone Ty Mary and Kemet. So this is a great book to have. I mean, he just goes through so much information, like I said, and a lot of it he has the sesh book, and he has the translation in the books, and he has a lot of good things in there. So go support those brothers and those that practice the Abrahamic faith. These are 2 books. I guarantee if you get these books, answer some of your questions, and you can use these as tools to edify and educate some of those that are still trapped in the Abrahamic faith, or give them an understanding of why you no longer follow someone else's culture and someone else's I can keep going, but I'll stop right there. But those are some of the books that it's a must that you need in your household. Talk about that Magi book, because I got that Magi book over here too, man. That's a great book. I done smashed, and I'm not a no debater. I'm not a debater or nothing like that. But sometimes, and you keep pushing me and you keep pushing me, you know, I'm gonna eventually push back. And I use that book, some pseudo stuff. And you don't hear me use the word pseudo a lot, but I had some pseudo stuff, man. I had like 2 or 3 brothers with some pseudo stuff. Smashed it, particularly one brother who gravitate towards the more science, and I just had to smash him up. All I had to do was pull that book out, man, and the other 2 guys just pulled the book out and just smashed them. I didn't want to, but I mean they pushed me. But you can go in on that, scene.
All right. Everybody should have this book by the Magi, Jonathan Owens. Arrows Up. This book was a vital piece of information that was also used in Kemet on Trial. I believe he has some information, some excerpts in here. This was a combination of a compilation of previous blogs that he had written before. He already addressed. And one of the arguments that they like to have, when I say they, I mean in the Hebrew brothers and sisters, they like to throw out that homosexuality claim in Kemet. And he specifically addresses the sexual deviances by our brothers and sisters that want to go out there and make such a claim. Point for point, he knocked it on out the box. He deals with all parts of Africa in this particular book. He talks about Nana in this book. He talks about a whole slew of different things. Like you said already, man, he dealt with the Moors. He handed them an L. You know, they try to act like this book don't exist either. And that's bad. They act like, you know, we book flexing it and we're saying the must reads, but we do have to be respectful to everybody and say, hey, y'all need to get our book. Our book means something. It should be in every household because it will stop some of the nonsensical ignorance that's going around in the community that's dealing with decipher or not. So we dealt with the elders' work in his appendix. That, but yes, this book and both of these books are not really talked about or discussed in the community when people are what they call Facebook debating and so forth. They stay away from these 2 topics. They don't want to deal with our book and they don't want to deal with the Magi book, but they'll continue to throw around those claims. Somebody who is having an argument with somebody or a conversation with somebody who wants to talk about the homosexuality claim, because that's the Hebrews' #1 claim to fame, you get this brother's book. You can get it the Amara Squad page, or you can hit Jonathan Owens up on Facebook and he'll send you a link where you can copy it. You can holler at him that way and he'll answer, respond to it. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't know if anybody else got the book, but I like it. I enjoyed it. Easy read. It's only about 240 pages. Nice source, nice blog put together, like I said.
I was trying to find something in the book, man. I can't remember that place that they say went up under us. Where they say everybody come from. I think the Moors use that a lot. Man, I was trying to find where it was, man. I can't find where it is. As soon as I get off here, I'll go straight to the page that I wanted to talk about. No more Kemet.
With addressing the Moors.
Yeah, well, no.
Yeah,
no, they was talking about, you know, the place. What is that place that they talk about? Some say existed before Africa, and
you talking about the land of Mu?
Yeah, the land of Mu. The land of Mu.
Page 37. Page 37. The lost continent of Mu. Augustus Plogion is credited as being the first to try and make a connection between Mayan and ancient Egyptian culture. His theory was the Mayans civilization exploited to Africa, Egypt via Atlantis. The lost continent of Mu was made popular by a 33-degree Mason, James Churchward. Building on the works of the Brooklyn residents, Augustus Lee Plongeon went further than to say civilizations was not set in the Yucatan, but in the land of Mu, the lost continent. Churchward claimed he actually discovered artifacts of Mu, which were later proven to be fakes, and Lost Island of Mu was debunked. Plongeon's writing seems to be myths of his own imagination. His story of Queen Mu, as Plongeon called it, and then he goes into a paragraph about it. But yeah, it talks about about 11,000 years ago, two brothers, princes of Yucatan, sought the hand of ruling monarch in the land Queen Mu was married. The brothers were named Ko and Ak, respectively. Prince Ko was a successful suitor, which so enraged Prince Ak that he stabbed his brother through the heart with a stone knife, which, needless to say, caused his death. Then Ak attempted to force Queen Mu to wed him. The queen, rather than submit, decided to flee to Atlantis. On reaching the coast, she learned the great earthquakes had submerged Atlantis beneath the sea. So she sailed for Africa instead and ended her journey in Egypt. There she was hailed as queen, erected the Sphinx as a memorial of her slain husband. Crazy. And then he cites Plongeon's work of Queen Mu and the Egyptian Sphinx. Man. Then what I have attempted to display in this origin of the lost continent of Mu mythos are known by the name only. I am not here to address other myths or lost continents, simply the origin and title used by the Neo-Moors Mu. The first mention of Mu arises from the mistranslation of Trono Codex. The Trono Codex is part of the Mayan codices. Charles Etienne Brasseur de Berg coined the term Mu when attempting to interpret Mayan signs alphabetically instead of symbolically. His erroneous interpretation revealed the fictitious lost continent of Mu.
That's that indigenous American African research. That's what y'all need to do, man. That's what the brothers we doing, man. We doing that research, you know. So respect to the brother Jonathan Owens. Respect to the panel. I have to step off, Uncle Jasaneb, and Dua Seba Kofi, Shadi. Let me speak. And I will see you brothers shortly.
All right, bro. We finna get ready to get up off of here too, man. We've been on here long with us, but Uncle Johnson, in the top. ATM Hotel.
Yeah, Kofi.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Before we go though, man, you know, we touched on a couple of things, but I do want to say that every household also should have Metal Nature by they should have this book, Afrocentricity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? By Malika Kita Ashante. You gotta have this book. And then you gotta have the Defined Speech book by Dear Elder. I think I got it over here somewhere real close. You know what book I'm talking about, right?
Divine Speech? No, I don't think so. Maybe when you show the book, I probably will.
Oh, let me get it. Right here. Wow. And I got all these little small books, man, by Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark. Oh, yeah, man, y'all gotta have this book. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Amarai Squad, brother Unk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it on
Human Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this right here, Jacob Carruthers' book. See,
oh, okay, yeah, I got it. Got it.
Yeah, man, you gotta have this book right here, guys. Divine Speech. It talks about the importance of speech, how powerful speech is. We take speech for granted today because we're living in a Eurocentric way, so we talk all kind of ways reckless to each other. But divine speech is powerful.
Yeah, That's a great book. That's a great book to have. Those books I got introduced being a member of the Seshu Ma'a Ni Metaneta group, and I'm thankful for being a part of the group. These two brothers on the panel that's left is also members of the Seshu Ma'a Ni Metaneta group, and I done learned a lot from everybody in the group, man. I'm just to be a part of this group where I'm able to learn and build in my collection, my book collection. Before we get up off here, I just want to tell the family, I appreciate you all for those that came in, popped out, came in, popped out. Be expecting a lot of content on the channel. Week the brother Asai Aka and me next Sunday. Like I said, I don't know exactly what time, but we're gonna go in on cosmology. So we're gonna probably talk about all 4 different cosmologies. I'm gonna touch on it just briefly because we're gonna do presentation. I got a presentation. I was gonna try to do it tomorrow, but I ain't even finna do it. I was gonna try to just take my time and wait till Tuesday to do it. But I seen Sean, he jumped on and did a darn PowerPoint presentation. I ain't trying to be in competition, but the brother just keep me motivated on my toes. I'd be like, I got to come back. I got to come back. I got to do one too. He done one. I got to come do one because they expecting when he do one. I'm serious, man. When he do one, they be thinking I'm supposed to come right back behind him and do one. If I know you coming the same day or you could, no, man, I can't. But I'm a, I may try to do it tomorrow, but I ain't finished. But I got is the Netcher Ooh. So I'll be talking about the Netcher Ooh. With the Netcher Ooh, I'll be talking about the flag, the different style flags, what period those flags, what people interpret the flags to mean. Go into exactly what is the Netcher Ooh. Go into what is forces, what is nature, what is characteristics, what is environment. Talking about a lot of that, and I'll be going through some of the Netcher Oohs and telling you about the Netcher Oohs, giving you some of the characteristics or the traits that's these Netcher Oohs are already embedded in you. So I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but it may be Tuesday. But it may be Monday. I don't know. I may give people a little rest because I know some are celebrating Christmas Monday. So I may do it. I may wait just wait till Tuesday and do it. But look forward to that. I'm gonna go live and do that one, but it'll be on the channel the same day after I go live and do that. And I Am My Brother's Keeper are gonna do something. Probably the same week, maybe Saturday before Sorry M Ka. Me and him do something. If I Am My Brother's Keeper probably gonna do something. It'll be the week after that. Hopefully we can get together and talk again and where we're doing something together. I present some information, he presents some information where we'll kind of piggyback. Because I don't see a lot of people doing that, and we did that in the beginning. Then we set when the first presentation of Seshu Ma'a Ni Metaneta did, that's what we did. Then we set.
Yeah.
It was a team. It was a team thing. So I see a lot of people ain't doing that. So I would like to, come on there and do something like that. I got trying to get the Babaluau from Nigeria. It's in West Africa. That's a Babaluau on the channel. I think that's gonna be powerful. But something for us with the Google Hangout and how to get this thing set up. Hopefully he'll still be wanting to do it and talk about some things. Some things he said he won't be able to expound. That'll be powerful. A Babaluau from Nigeria. on the show to talk about the Yoruba people and Ifa. So for that, and again, I got some more presentations. I talk about the queens. We don't talk about the queens. We don't uplift the women that much. So I'm gonna be going in on the queens, or the Hemet, the suits, and Kemet of them being the suit bitches who ruled the throne, who was also king, because king is neuter now. It does not have to be a male in that capacity. You can read. I gave you a book by Saryam Hotep, king of ancient Egyptians. So he touched on that a little bit in the book as well. So I have a presentation I'm gonna be doing on that and the 9 parts of the man. So I'll be breaking down the Ba, the Ren, the Saku, um, and some other different things, other parts of the 9 parts of the man. So I'll be going in, yes, son, and I'll be expounding on that. So just be looking forward to that, and be looking forward to some of the brothers from the Seshu Ma'ah on the channel as well, and going in, and we having a bill with the language, and just having a bill with the language and some other things. Just be looking forward to. Maybe I'll be able to pop off and get some more people on the channel to support me. I appreciate Satep and Rod for coming on the show. I appreciate seeing Sean for coming on the show, for opening up my first show. This is the first show, so I appreciate that. I respect these brothers to the fullest. I just want to say dua, ooh. To you, I can't thank y'all that much. I'm indebted to y'all. Whatever y'all need from me, man, just I got you. You know, I got you. So I appreciate it. If y'all won't say anything before we sign out, man, y'all the floor open.
Yeah, man, this was a good opening show, man. It's always good to open up, with presenting some information or getting some people hip to some stuff. Like, hey, y'all need to go get these books right here so y'all can get on the same wavelength we on, and maybe some people, like some of the books that you had, I didn't have. Some of the books I had, you didn't have. So, we all sharing and exchanging information. We all students at the end of the day. No one man is greater than the other in our group and in the chat either. We ain't up here professing that we better than the chat. Our information, then hopefully, somebody shoot some books our way. Like, hey, y'all brothers got this, y'all brothers got that. So, and yeah, I appreciate you having me on here, and I definitely want to participate in more, help grow the channel and stuff, support all your endeavors, because you're a good brother. That's 100.
Wow.
Yeah, Kofi, appreciate you having us on, man. It's a good topic. For those who will go back and watch the pre-recording, I hope that we brought something useful to you that you can use and incorporate in your lives. The books that we presented today are seriously books that you want to have on all levels. I don't know what you may be studying or what you're getting ready to study, but we kind of, we kind of want to cover all aspects of our life because we still putting the pieces together of our ancestors up into current history. So take your time. It's not a race. It's not about reading up all these books and for the sake of just reading. Is actually being able to consume the information and do what we need to do best, which is apply it, which is our next direction. After we come into this knowledge, we want to apply this knowledge to move our people and advance our people forward. So on that note, I'm just gonna say Shem Hotep and dua for having us on the show.
All right, fam. Well, we finna sign off. Again, just be looking forward for a lot of content. Be looking for that. Well, what is the Netcher/Netcher PowerPoint presentation coming in the next few days? Subscribe to the channel, Kofi Paisa TV. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up video. Hit the bell so when I do go live, it'll automatically notify you if you hit the bell. Again, dua to y'all. for tuning in. I want to end and say ETM Hotel. I want to say Modupe. I want to say Dua Aku. I want to say Egungun, Kiki, Egungun. I always want to honor and praise the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. So peace, family.